What's up, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Chat with Chazz. Woo! You go, girl! Thank you. But welcome back to another episode of Chat with Chazz, and I'm here to chat with your ass. Just kidding, I don't cuss on this podcast. But welcome back again. My name is Chastity, aka Chazz, and I want to start by saying thank y'all so much for your support of my premiere video last week. You can go back and check that out on all major platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, wherever you definitely check out my past episodes and future episodes will be once a week every Saturday I get started on this journey. So I hope y'all have had a really good week last week. I know I did. Hope work and school and everything went amazing for you. And let's just jump right in. I really wanted to do this episode. I know this topic can be a little heavy and challenging to talk about, possibly even controversial to talk about, depending on who you ask. But it's an important topic to discuss, and I want to just dive right into it. My mental health matters. Your mental health matters. Our mental health matters. I know sometimes, especially in the community of color, it seems like we don't talk about it enough. It's been generationally taught that you deal with whatever you got going on behind closed doors with yourself, and if nothing else, you pray about it and you keep it moving. But and I don't fault our elders and whether you want to call them ancestors or just the people who came before us. I don't fault them for that necessarily, but at the same time, it wasn't the healthiest advice to give. Definitely, I would seek out any type of assistance when dealing with your mental health because it is so important, and we are losing way too many people because not enough people are willing to talk about it and get help for it. And I do want to, probably should have said this before, but I do want to preface this conversation by saying I'm not a therapist. I am not a psychologist, a psychiatrist. I'm not a life coach. Baby, I got a GED. I'm just somebody who's been through stuff, okay? I don't have any type of degrees in any type of medical field or anything like that. I'm just a regular person that's living a regular life and has struggles and want to share in hopes of encouraging somebody. So just wanted to put that out there first. So I guess what made me want to really dive into this topic is my own life experience. I've dealt with my own struggles with anxiety and depression from a very young age, starting with the death of my great grandmama, Dorothy Johnson, RIP to my angel. But it really started there back in 97 when I was only like maybe 8 or 9 years old. I think it was like 9 years old when she passed. And just going from whatever my normal was. We lived in this little country town, lived in a double wide trailer, me, my mama, my daddy, and I had one brother, baby brother at the time. I have two brothers, but it was only just the two of us at the time, and he was very young himself. And my what I call her my grandma Jay, who lived literally, it was our trailer, a tree, and her house, and she was my norm. She was my best friend. So to go from that every day to in the middle of the church to her casket, and I looked down at her and I looked back up at my cousin, and I that it told me she she's not gonna be, not to say I'm gonna lose my mind or anything, but they was like, she's, you're gonna have to got to get her some help for this because she's not gonna, not saying she's not gonna be okay. Fortunately, they were right. It really started. I mean, I was straight A's in school up until that point. I was pretty I was kind of a quiet child, but I wasn't just a mute either. I was a pretty like outgoing kid. That kind of changed. I was not really like I said, I went from straight really doing anything, like failing classes. I had issues with teachers. I was getting detention, and it was really all because unfortunately didn't stop until I eventually dropped out in the 11th grade because I just couldn't take it anymore. But going back to that, it's just you never really know what situation in your life will cause you to spiral into this road of depression and anxiety, and especially dealing with a loss of, and I know I'm not the only one that's dealt with the loss of a family member, or just they don't even necessarily have to be a family member, just somebody that you were super close to. Losing them as an adult is hard. Losing them that is your constant, and then your constant is just kind of ripped from you. That can really mess with you, and that's something that a lot of us don't talk about enough. It's definitely not talked about enough as it should be, in my opinion. So that's why we're here. That's why I'm here, because I really wanted to dive into this conversation because it is such a necessary conversation to have. Um, so I know there are a whole lot more mental issues that do need to be spoken about. I can only speak for what I have experienced, but definitely drop in the comments. Um, if you feel inclined to drop in the comments and just tell me or tell us ways that you know what you've had to deal with and how you've dealt with it, because I really feel like we could all help each other. um because it's a daily thing. Like, as a child it was much harder to deal with because I'm grieving the loss of literally my best friend. So I'm grieving that while I'm dealing with bullying. I'm dealing with having to make these adjustments. I'm dealing with a teacher that was a friend of the family who honestly used my great grandmother's death in a way to manipulate certain situations for certain groups of people in their favor, and kind of use the grieving child to do it. So I was dealing with a lot back then. So it spiraled, honestly. And what, fifth grade when I believe, yeah, about fourth or fifth grade when it happened. And then, oh my goodness, like the bullying, it continued. I had to move schools probably, let's see, there was about three times until we eventually moved to another city. And by the time we moved to a bigger city, I was just honestly just over it all. And I couldn't take school anymore. I would not. That's why I said I really feel like it's so important for parents. Shout out to my parents who recognized what was going on, recognized that Chazz wasn't quite right anymore. She wasn't acting the same anymore, and they helped me deal with it. But those kids who didn't have anybody to be like, okay, something's not right. We see a difference in you, and we're going to figure out what's going on. We're going to figure out what we can do to help you fix it. because as I said earlier, there are too many children taking their own lives specifically because of bullying. And even whether it be school bullying or even being bullied at home, thankfully I didn't have to deal with that. I had a very, and honestly, I think aside from the fact that I'm a person of faith, I think it was the fact that home was always a safe space. Hell was at school, but heaven was at home. And I didn't have to deal with any type of parental abuse. There was no, we weren't rolling in money in the slightest bit, but we were we struggled, but we were comfortable in the struggle, if that makes, at least I can only speak for myself because like I was a child. So I don't really remember wanting for nothing. You know, when you're a kid and you look at other kids that have certain things and you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I had that. I wish I had that. But it's like looking back, as an adult, as an almost 40-year-old adult, I can honestly look back and say that when it comes to those tangible things, I really didn't want for anything. So I'm definitely grateful for that. But like I said, not a lot of children have what I had, and my heart hurts for them because I can't imagine being in school, going through hell for 8 hours a day, and then having the rest of those 16 hours of your day hell too because you're dealing with mess at home. So, like I said, that's why I feel like this topic is not discussed enough because there are so many triggers and so many warning signs that I think we as people we're so focused on ourselves and what our life is looking like at the time that we're not really paying attention to what's going on around us. So I think that's so important to pay attention to what's going on with other people. That way, if we can help, then we can help and get them some help if they need it. So, personally for me, I was a very quiet in my anxiety and depression. It caused me to be really quiet and to myself at times, more times than not, especially growing up. Um, I had like this small circle. Now I appreciate the importance of having your circle be small because the more people that know what you're doing, the more people that secretly hate you, they smile in your face, they'll stab you in the back. But as a child, you didn't know that. You wanted everybody to like you as a child. And unfortunately, that's not the case in life. And that can really mess with a child's psyche. Like seriously, like you think, oh, everybody's supposed to love me. Then you realize the more people are not going to like you than are, and that's perfectly okay. As long as you like yourself and love yourself, that is perfectly okay. The whole world can hate you, but as long as you know what you're supposed to be doing and you walk in there and it took a lot. I was in therapy. I've gone to therapy off and on over the course of my life since my latest was a couple of years ago. And I'll touch on that later. But yeah, you have to recognize, I think the most important thing is you have to recognize what it is. And I dealt with, the older I got, the more things started happening. I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, which I don't know if a lot of people know. Basically, you get these polyps in your colon and they cause a lot of like gastrointestinal issues. And I dealt with that from age 10 to age 12. I was on a lot of medications, made me blow up, y'all. Like I was like a 12, I was a 10, 11 and 12-year-old butterball because of all the medications I was taking, which is if being blind in one eye having a birth defects that affected my nose and my teeth wasn't enough. Now on top of that, I'm fat too. So that didn't help the bullying at all, but it definitely increased the mental just of it all. Like the anxiety, the depression, feeling like everybody is just looking at you, laughing at you. It it made that worse. And that was something that thankfully I have not had any flare-ups with colitis. I've been in remission since I was 12 years old, so I'm thankful for that. But as I said before, you just never know. Like everybody talks about being on a healing journey. And I was just watching actually I was watching a podcast the other night, and this girl said that she was coming into a relationship healed. And honestly, I don't think you're ever healed completely, because there's something is always going to happen. The unfortunate part of life is every day is not going to be a good day, and you're going to have moments where you kind of revert back into that unhealed version of yourself. You just have to know what triggers, and back to the triggers. You got to really know what your triggers are, what that is, if it's a buzzword, if it's a scent, if it's like your surroundings, whatever it might be, you got to know what triggers you. And I think that's what's so important. It's kind of like, for example, okay, one of those triggers could be something as simple as, for me, is bananas. And no, I'm not saying like it's crazy as bananas, like it's literally like bananas, like the fruit bananas. I used to eat bananas and cornflakes in my cereal or whatever with my grandma J. I have not put a banana to my mouth since she died. It's a trigger. It can be something as simple as, let's say, you were in a relationship and it might have not been the greatest relationship, but in that toxic, anxiety ridden state of mind, there were certain songs that y'all listened to together. There are certain songs that, like in my past relationships, I hate them songs now, and I used to sing those songs at the top of my lungs. I hate to hear them now. They're just, you never know what could be a trigger, but at the end of the day, when you spot it and you recognize it, that's, I feel like, one of the first steps to really understanding your mental and working to do something about it. So I think it's so important to really recognize your triggers and understand that you are going to be triggered. You can't even lay in the bed. And I used to try, y'all. There were days where I literally did not want to get out of the bed because I'm like, okay, if I can just stay in the bed, then nothing's gonna happen because can't nobody bother me if I'm in the bed. And that's just not realistic. You don't grow that way. You don't become a light to somebody else staying in your own hole and staying in your own funk. I encourage you to get out of that funk and get the help that you need. And you can even, I definitely encourage therapy, praying. Like I said, I'm a person of faith, so I encourage you to pray. And really, I believe faith without works is dead. So yes, our elders in our lives and just people around us will tell you, oh, you don't need to, what you wasting money going to somebody to talk to somebody for. I encourage it because it has helped me tremendously in my life. Once I got to the age where I said I was going to take it seriously, it helped me tremendously. So I definitely encourage anybody who is thinking about seeking therapy, definitely do it. In the meantime, because I do understand how expensive it can be, there are so many resources out there, such as 988lifeline.org. You can reach out to them for emotional support. There's also the crisis text hotline. You text the word home to 741-741, and this is completely free, and it'll assist you with suicide prevention, depression, bullying. Those are some great resources. And if you can't reach out to any of those resources, I really do encourage you to just really look inside yourself and think about, even write it down. Journaling, I haven't done it in a while, but I will get right back to journaling very soon. Most times when you aren't in a position to where you can seek out help at that time, if you write down what's triggering you and what's bothering you, sometimes, I'm not even gonna say sometimes, more often than not, once you read it and you see it on paper, you'll be surprised how healing it can be. You don't even have to burn it. Do it safely, burn it. Do whatever you got to do to physically throw it away. It can feel like you're literally throwing the problem away. And I know that's not going to throw the problem away, but reading what's bothering you, it can kind of trip that little thing in your mind, that problem solving area of your mind, where you're like, okay, I'm reading this. This is an issue. And you immediately go into, what can I do to fix this right now? And then before long, you're finding yourself, whenever you go through the day and maybe you speak to somebody and they don't speak right back to you immediately, and your mind immediately starts churning with those intrusive thoughts. Once you, and I've had to learn this too, whether it be coworkers, family, relationships, friendships, whatever type of relationship that you have in your life, fix you, because everybody's got their stuff and everybody is not going to fix what's wrong with them. But once you fix what's wrong with you, then you're better equipped to deal with what's wrong with everybody else. And then what I have found to be true is, a lot of the problems that you think people have with you, they're really problems that they have within themselves. And they're just deflecting on you because they don't know how to handle it. So I just wanted to leave you guys with that. And again, I want to, you can Google, everybody Googles everything these days. Google your local psychologists, psychiatrists, life coaches. Find someone that you're comfortable to talk to them and let them help you work through your issues. If you, for whatever reason, can't get to somebody, like I said, 988lifeline.org is an amazing resource for prevention and just any mental health struggles that you're struggling with. There are resources there to help you, as well as if you're at a moment where you feel like you just can't take it anymore, you are worth it. You are here for a reason. There's no reason why you need to leave this earth feeling how you're feeling, when you deserve to be here. You were made to be here. And the world would be a much worse place if you took yourself out of it. So if you're in a position to where you feel like you've hit the end of your rope, you've hit a wall, text home. That's HOME to 741-741. It's a free resource to where you can speak with somebody confidentially and get support and resources to help you begin to heal, because there is life after anxiety and depression. It's an everyday struggle, but there is happiness. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. I never thought in a million years that I would go from feeling like I don't want to be here anymore, feeling like the world would be better if I wasn't in it, feeling like that, to speaking about it and encouraging other people to start healing. It's just a testament to what faith and support and the right support can do for you. So I just want to leave y'all with that. Again, thank y'all so much. I know this was kind of a heavy topic, but again, it was a very necessary topic. But I want to thank all of y'all again for tuning in to Chat with Chazz. Again, my name's Chazz, and I look forward to speaking with y'all again next week. Check me out on all platforms as Apple, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon Music. I'm on all the platforms that you get your podcast from. Again, I hope y'all have an amazing week, and I'll talk to y'all next Saturday. Bye.